we're on again. Third time lucky. Now I should have, as well as audio, my picture, and the comments should also be enabled, because that was the first one we had, so we had no comments, we had no picture. Now we should have the whole lot. So yeah, in the comments, give me a good morning. It's not that good a morning here, if I'm honest. I'm a bit ill, Sean's a bit ill, Joe's not here. It's cloudy and grey outside. It's very typical London weather. Not really tennis weather, and it's certainly not Monte Carlo weather. Those guys are having a whale of a time out there. But there you go. Today we are talking about Vivo. We only arrived back in here a couple of days ago, so excited to delve into Vivo's details a bit more. See if any of you guys have used it and what you think. So of course, in the comments, who's going to give me the first good morning, good hello? Sean is shaking his head puzzlingly, I assume, whilst trying to get the comments up. Here we go. Here we go. Comments is up. I can now see everything, and we are ready to go. So come on. First person, let me know that you're there. Let me know where you're listening in from, watching in from. We released our Grapple Snake Tour Mako video yesterday, which, as you may have found when we're doing our string reviews, our opening little introduction. Texas, good morning, Borough Guy. You may have noticed on those string reviews we tend to have a little bit of fun at the start, especially Joe on the thumbnails has lots of fun trying to get them as creative as possible. So Tour Mako. Mako's a shark, so he very much enjoyed it. And so to look after Joe, it'd be nice for any of you, if you watch our videos, to comment on the thumbnails. He spends a lot of time trying to do them, so any nice words about his creativity on thumbnails always goes down well. So Mr. Texas Man, what racket have you got? What racket have you got? What string do you use? What are we playing with? And would you consider Vivo? ReString's latest edition. So I've got Vivo here. I also have, of course, close to hand, not that close to hand, apparently, those new hooks are a nightmare. Sync and Zero. So we now have the complete reach range. What a lovely tidy range it is as well. Tidy range it is. They look great, nice and vibrant. Yeah, a really nice job done. Oxford, not quite as exotic as Texas, but appreciate that nonetheless. Vivo, we've now got it. For those of you that would like to try it, we can now got it in the UK and shipped to some places in Europe as well, but mainly UK. Oh look, and Sean's just put a little discount code in for you. Was that live Vivo 10? So you go, you want 10% off today for the next 24 hours. Live Vivo 10. To try it. What racket have you got, Mr. Oxford? What strings are you using? What level are we playing at? Vehicle 98 Tour. Technicoder Black Code Fire. 52. Yeah, nice. I mean, that's a strong effort. I do like Black Code. In fact, I like all the Technofiber strings, all the code. The white code and red code I think are very underrated, and they're very well priced as well. You can't often go wrong with those. And the Vehicle 98 Tour, great racket. Will there be a new one in the start of next year? It'll be interesting, because it's been very well received, that current vehicle. It'd be hard for them to improve upon it. RF01 Pro with ReString Sync. Oh no, so obviously the RF1 Pro is kind of not necessarily a comfortable, well, I suppose it is a more comfortable version of something like a Pro stuff, right? ReString Sync. A control string. Are you dying of hay fever? Thanks, Chris. No, I don't think I am dying of hay fever. I think it started as hay fever and is now just a full-on man cold. I'm struggling, but I think I sleep till like 4 AM, so if anyone asks me any difficult questions, be prepared for not very good answers. So yeah, obviously ReString Sync being a control string, but in that modern slick way, and this new ReString Vivo is not that, so it's not slick. So there's some people who don't like the ReString strings, don't like how they feel and how they play. Vivo's going to be worth trying because it is the antithesis to sync and zero in its construction. Yeah, it's supposed to be a more consistent, dependable, neutral string, more like a confidential. Yeah, probably not far off black code. I'd imagine it'd be slightly softer, but I don't know exactly. So Vivo comparison to sync and zero, exactly that. Its construction is different. The player it's aimed at is different. They actually showed me. No, I need to try and get it to show everyone. There is like a string map of where ReString are now placing their different strings. Vivo is bang in the middle. If you've got stiffness and softness, and you've got power and control, Vivo is bang in the middle. Zero obviously is spin and power, and sync is spin and control. So it is definitely fits somewhere in between in terms of control, but much lower on both in terms of crispness and feel. I think it might play, I say, a lot like Confidential, and maybe a little bit like a Polytor Strike, I think, maybe. But we'll see. It's hexagonal, and the other benefit, I guess, is its sustainability. So it's actually made from recycled materials entirely, which is pretty new, pretty unusual in the tennis industry. I think we're quite a wasteful industry, very plastic heavy. So well done to ReString. I think the focus has got to be on the playability though, rather than on the sustainability side. It's just a nice add-on that if you happen to love the string and it's more sustainable, win-win, right? So there you have it, Vivo, and 10% off today. Give it a go, grab it. We'll have our full review coming out very, very soon. Chris is trying out new strings in his EZO 98s. I hope they're brand new EZO 98s, Chris. Wouldn't be wanting to use those in old ones, would you? That'd be ridiculous. Tourlam Wasabi Pro in one, loved it, went dead quickly. ReString Sync and the others, it's a bit boring. How does it with Vivo compare? Sorry. If you found Sync boring, Vivo's going to be even more boring. In that sense of if a string can be boring, maybe it's your game style is boring. I don't know. The fact that Wasabi Pro went dead quickly is surprising. Yeah, that is surprising. I assume you didn't find that in the Sync, but yeah, I would. If you like the hybrid, I think a lot of people may hybrid Vivo. Try and liven it up a bit. So maybe like a zero Vivo hybrid. Vivo might take over some of the hybrids that Sync has been doing. So maybe worth trying. But because it doesn't have that slickness to it, you can actually string it tighter. So something that ReString said to me when they were testing, it was Sync and zero. See, they suggest dropping the tension. We go at 50, but a lot of players sort of between 45 and 50 pounds, bringing it down, or maybe 3 or 4 pounds looser than you would normally go. With Vivo, they're saying to go at your normal tension. So a lot more players sort of at 52, 53 pounds. So we'll see how that goes. Here we got Ashley's Aero 98. Zero and Sync Cross is my setup so far. Yeah, so actually, I mean, it's such a great setup. And I was never a huge Aero 98 fan until I used it in a versus against the Extreme, I think, last year, and we put zero in it, and it came alive, and I absolutely loved it. And I imagine that hybrid's also great. Sorry, that blend. I'd maybe try Vivo instead of Sync to give it a go. Why not? It'll be even crisper than Sync, even more sharp. So that could be worth trying. So yeah. Who else have we got watching? Give me some shout outs. So far I think I've got Texas as the furthest away person. Anyone else from further? Chris, the Vivo Zero Hybrid would look nice with the new colour. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, colour's not my forte, as we've covered many times on the channel. Yeah, they obviously, I think they work together. Do they work with the new E-Zone? Let's have a look. Let me go and get one. what I was expecting. Oh, the booms. What I was expecting, obviously. What do we think? Yeah, I think it's basically like 3 shades of blue. I don't think any of the blues match. Actually, yeah, the Vivo is very close to the green detail, I think. Sean agrees. He's checking my colours. Yeah, I don't think that'd look bad. I think it'd play well as well. Vivo mains, 0 crosses, or vice versa. But what I think everyone's excited to see it in is the boom, because that is pretty much a perfect match on colour as you are going to get. Head must be very happy, because I think a lot of the promo shoots that ReString have done have been using a boom for this very reason. So in this alternate boom, I think Vivo will look very nice. And if you use a power racket like the boom, MP or Pro, especially in the Pro, and you want that connected feeling from that more kind of control version, Vivo would probably be a really nice option as well. So not a bad setup to go for. Boom Pro, Vivo full bed, look great, play great. That's what we want, right? That is what we want. Oh, was that a Vivo sale, Sean? If you hear that ka-ching, that means we had it. It was excellent. Well done. First person using that 10% off code. Very, very good. The 10% off code is only for the next 24 hours. So if you are thinking about trying Vivo, now is the time to do it. It is slightly more expensive than Zero and Sync across the board. I assume the cost of using the recycled materials and that production element is slightly harder to do. So we'll see if that impacts its popularity. But so far, been very well received. Yeah, anybody else? I've still got Texas as my most exotic location, seconded by Oxford. And Chris is even less exotic, I know, in Bushel Park. So surely someone, I don't know, Texas is pretty good. I want something further away. And let me know what racket you're using, what string you're using. Will you be trying Vivo? Will you be giving it a go? Will you be switching it in as a new hybrid? Will you try it as a full bed? I think the type of player it's aimed at is going to be a little niche, more of a performance player. So I think, I don't know how wide you can actually see, but I think players who are using things like blades, pro staffs, strikes, etc., are going to be the types of players who'll enjoy it and really get that connected feeling and enjoy that string tension maintenance along with sort of the crispness that you get. So yeah, here is Vivo. Very nice indeed, in its lovely boom colour. Woo. Speaking of setups, if this were, oh, is that another Vivo? You lot are popping off Vivos this morning. Very good. Don't miss out on the 10% off. So if we think, or I think, this boom and Vivo combo is pretty good, maybe as good as it gets. What other, we like to call them sexy setups here at PH Tennis, what other sexy setups can you think of in terms of string colour and racket colour? And I've got all the Toraline strings in front of me, so basically got every colour you could possibly think of, from pomegranate to neon green to pink, yellow and lavender. So if anyone's got a racket that they think, yeah, I've just built that to look amazing. Oh, Sean is fighting with a reel of string behind me. And I think he's suggesting that, I don't know, what do you reckon, like a dark all-in-one, like a new Shift Roland Garros with the bow, is going to look good. Yeah, I don't know. This is certainly taste. Wasabi, yeah, I think the Wasabi Pro in the E-Zone looks good. Gravity Tour is a new Gravity with Lynx Tour Black. If that's a suggestion for a setup, well, yeah, it's just black, isn't it? But actually for playing, I think that's really nice. Obviously the Gravity Tour, we obviously use the seed demo we got sent before, which is just blacked out which I think looks even better. I think brands do that a lot. They send out seed rackets for players to test and influencers to test before launch, and they black the rackets out, and then they produce the actual cosmetic that they've kept under wraps, and everyone's gone, oh, we actually like the first one. Wilson did it years ago with the Dazzle range, and they dazzled all the rackets, and it was like a white and black like zebra. And they did a couple of years later then do limited edition Dazzles because it was so popular. Yeah, Strike 97 did a black seed one. Do we still have that? Which we can sell now as well. So if anyone wants a black Strike 97, very unique. You won't find many of those at all. You can actually get it. So get in touch if you want one. It's good. You get the blue from the ether. Yes. Where is my ether? I can't see it up here. It must be downstairs. So blue from the ether with the black and the Gravity Tour. Yeah, nice. And I was talking about the Gravity last week. And Joe found an old racket in one of our store cupboards, and after I was saying about how it's sort of that 90s kind of shimmery graphite style, and yeah, it's exactly the same. So it is definitely a throwback, this Gravity. Why does everyone love the Gravity so much? That's an interesting question. Do we have any Gravity lovers on here? Because we find that they're quite a strong fan base, to put it kindly. Much like Tottenham fans, not often willing to hear open criticism. But there you go. That's just me. So yeah, Gravity Tour, black strings with the blue. So do you put ether in the crosses? I guess you do, and then it hits this blue. Yeah, nice setup. Can get on board with that. And what was Chris saying? Wasabi Pro. So we looked at Vivo and Zero. I've got Wasabi Pro right here. Got any other setups? What we got? So this is obviously, yeah, I can get on board with that. Again, the green plays with that little dabble of colour. Yes, indeed. Or ether on the crosses. Yeah, nice. Yeah, that is good. Well played. Well done, Chris. But you didn't say it lasted very long, so maybe not ideal. But I think Wasabi, I think one of the best things about Wasabi is the colours. The options are so much more lively than the rest. They stand out. And they're very good strings. So it's sort of win-win-win for everyone, isn't it? Oh, I'm struggling today. Anyone has any home remedies for a cough? Let me know. So those of you who missed last week would have not seen the new Roland Garros records. I don't know, are these in shot, Sean? Just the Clash one. Probably right behind me. This has probably been the least well received, but I actually think it's the nicest. And it's the only one we've got so far. Yeah, Clashy but comfortable. And actually had a very nice comment on YouTube this morning from a gentleman, 70 years old, I think he said he was, who'd watched our Clash review and bought it because of the review. Unfortunately, it was in the US, so he couldn't actually buy it from us. And wanted to come back and say, we got it spot on, exactly as described, and it was the perfect racket for him. So, you know, sometimes our service does work. And equally, our new Grapplesnake Tour Macca review, where we weren't super glowing about the string, has its limitations. That's the same with lots of the strings we've been testing. People very into the honesty, so you know we'll continue to try and do that as we can. Any more setups? So I need some locations where you're listening from, where you're watching from, what racket you've got, what setup you've got. Will you try the new Vivo? And if you won't try the new Vivo, why not? Or what strings have you got? And is that because it's a sexy setup? Is it just because it looks so good in the racket that you can't put it down? Or more likely, is it a playability issue? So yeah, let me know where you're watching from. I wonder if our Canadian Blade friend's watching. That's interesting, isn't it? Rob Tennis Beckingham. God, we got very local today, Beckingham. For ReString Zero is 1.23, 1.28 better for me, either 98. So this is interesting on gauges. So traditionally, everyone has gone thinner gauge for better playability. But the Tour, and because of that, now the people have started to go thicker, started to go to lower, well, lower gauges, thicker strings. And yeah, so we noticed when we first started doing 0, 1.23 outsold 1.28 by miles. And now it doesn't. Obviously 1.28 will last a bit longer, so that's part of the consideration. The playability will be very, very similar. But obviously when the string's smaller, it's, how can I describe it? It's sharper into the ball. So you get more bite, you get more connection, you get a different type of feeling. So yeah, in the EZO 98, I would probably be tempted with the 1.28, I think. Just because the new EZO is so powerful and a little bit detached in its feeling, a slightly thicker and therefore stiffer string, may help temper it a little bit. But for those people who, especially the EZO 100, people putting 0 in it, I mean, I haven't tried that yet, but it must be absolutely a wild. Yeah, it's a crazy, crazy racket. And unbelievably popular. But for those of you who are waiting for EZO in the UK, we got a delivery yesterday. So watch the website this morning, because we'll be going up. I still think we're very low / no 98s. I think it's hundreds and 100Ls, etc. That we have. But hundreds to start with. You're welcome, Rob. Justin, is Vivo string suitable for control rackets or power rackets? I love that question because I've been pondering this, and I think I spoke about it last week as well. The difference, whether maybe I wasn't on the live when I talked about it, maybe I was with Joe. So I have this new theory, right, that everyone has this perfect racket setup that they're trying to get to. And me personally as a tester, I obviously have this ideal concept in my head of what I'm trying to play, what I'm trying to feel like. So if I get a power racket like a Pure Drive, which you obviously really like you're saying, Pure Drive, and I put a power string in it, it takes it from here and it takes it up even more power. And you might think like, well, it's kind of crazy, and it is, and it's therefore not an ideal setup. Equally, if I then put Vivo in it, for example, was that another Vivo sale? Well done, team. It's 3 so far. Live is rocking for sales. That when Vivo comes in, it's going to temper down the Pure Drive. So it's going to almost turn it from a power frame into more of a control frame, to an extent. Or it's going to dampen it down. And then you take the Percept 100 at your other end of the spectrum as the control. If you put a control string in it, it's going to keep it down here. If you put a power string in it, it's going to bring it up. So there's this sort of discussion we're having was if you take a power racket, a Pure Drive, and put a control string in it, and you take a control racket and put a power string in it, you're really just bringing them closer to this perfect middle ground that we're all looking for. So does it matter? Whereas lots of other people, if they have a control racket, a blade, or a Percept, as you say, they want a string that matches and that feels, that gives them more control. So there is an element of adjusting the racket's playability based on string. I think it's really underestimated. I think when people are testing rackets, they dismiss a racket very quickly, often because of outcome. So they may be playing and start sending a load of balls, 2 minutes, is it? We might be sending a load of balls long and they go, oh, this racket's just not right for me. But actually they should just stick with it, maybe it'll feel great. And then it's tinkering with the string setup. For example, putting a Vivo in rather than a 0 in, it might completely change the ball outcome, but the feel's still going to be great. So I think often people dismiss rackets because of where their shots are going. But the string is, I mean, Brad Gilbert once said it was 50% of a racket's effectiveness. I don't know where he got that from. But I'm going to agree. I think it probably is about 50% string, 50% racket. So you really can adapt a racket significantly with string. But back to your original question, Justin, I've kind of gone off on a tangent. Vivo, I think, will be suitable for all rackets if you are a higher level player who wants specific feedback. So one thing that a lot of players are after is whatever they put into the ball, they get back. So the crispness and the sharpness and the feel on the string bed is dependable, consistent. You don't get sort of like the negative around 0 occasionally is it can kind of spray off and kind of go everywhere, almost out of control. And Vivo is basically the opposite of that, where it's a complete origin string. It's all about you and what you put into the ball to get the benefits. So there you go. I hope that helps, Justin. But before I go, and maybe go back to bed. See ya. Vivo, 10% off today. It was our launch day offer for the next 24 hours. If you're watching this on repeat, apologies for my sickness rambling. But Vivo available, 10% off. Check it out. I'm going to be checking it out even more. I tried it for the first time yesterday. Our full review will be coming soon. I'm sure you all can't wait to see it. And then we also have Mac 10, supposed to be arriving tomorrow, I believe. Sean's shrugging his shoulders. He's also sick, so he's also decided to not know anything. But there you go. Thank you all very much for watching. Thanks for your comments and questions. I will be here next week. Me and Sean will be here as a gruesome twosome again. Hopefully feeling better. And yeah, if anyone has anything we'd like you, if anyone would have any specific topics to generally discuss, rackets, setups, racket versus, balls, grips, then leave it in the comments, and then I will be prepared next week with some new things. Chris not coming into the shops today if everyone is sick. Yeah, that's a fair point. I would be avoiding. I won't be here for much longer. I promise you that. And Sean can't talk, so you know, customer service as always, tip top. Yeah, of course, personal preference, Justin. Completely agree. But I think more than that, it's going to be player level. Is going to be quite a big element. I think the stronger players who were sort of dismissed Sync and Zero for being a bit too much. Vivo is going to hit that market. So I think ReString have been quite clever in how they're putting their strings out to cover off different types of players. And if they had, well, they have a tour player on the double store who uses Zero, but double's a bit different, where you need that everything needs to be bigger and all the time. But if they ever wanted to try and sign a singles player, then I think Vivo would be the string that they put on them. So there you go. Vivo introduced, 10% off today. Use the code. Let us know what you want us to cover next week, and I will see you very soon.